Hello, and welcome to Conversations with Creatives. My name is Esther Stanford, and today I have the enormous pleasure of being joined by my very good friend, Sue Hawkins. Now, you might not know Sue's name and you might not know her face, but I can pretty much guarantee you will have seen her at some point during your life because she is 1/3 of the Dancing Grannies, and they have had over 500 million views worldwide. They have performed on Good Morning America. They have performed at the Grand Prix in Bahrain. They will be somewhere in your feed at some point, dancing to songs, doing comedy sketches, and their views are currently going up. They're putting out a lot of content at the moment and getting 13 to 16 million views in a couple of days. And they're so funny. And I really wanted to talk to Sue because she's been a friend of mine for about 16 years and we've worked together a bit. But she's also got a really brilliant sort of can-do, take no bullshit attitude, which I love. And what I also love about these girls, which is why I think it's important to talk to them, is that their career they have purely created themselves. They didn't wait for anybody to do anything for them. They created shows, they created plays, and they created these characters, and they didn't wait for a gatekeeper. They just made this work for themselves. So you join us where we are talking about the fact that they have had over 500 million views.
I was looking you guys up, and you have had AI, like when you put into Safari, AI gives you a breakdown of you guys not using ChatGPT
Really?
or anything. And it says you're really exciting, really dynamic, and that you've had over 500 million social media views.
Yeah.
That
That's going to be
is,
even more now with what's
yes.
recently happened. Yeah. Yeah.
So tell us a bit about the Fizzogs and who you are.
Okay, so the Fizzogs are myself, Deb, and Jackie, and we created Fizzog Productions back in 2000, and we'd all done theatre in health and education and everything at college. I always remember Deb saying, one of our lecturers, Dave Morris, said, if you do community theatre, you'll never be able to work. And you know what? He was absolutely right, because we started off doing that. We got loads of funding bids. We used to do anti-bullying plays in schools, sexual health, and we did things about domestic violence, community cohesion, all sorts of different things. And we did that for years. And then we got told constantly by the Arts Council, you can't keep coming to us for money, because the Olympics were coming in and something, and all the money was going there. And then we just kind of decided we'd done that for quite a while. We wanted a slight different direction. And we actually went to the Black Country Museum to research a World War Two play that we were doing. And I remember we're all big into manifestation and setting intentions, as you know. And I remember us walking into the museum and just thinking, wouldn't this be an amazing place to work? So straight away, we spoke to the boss, and he was a bit like, oh, no, I don't think this would work. So we ignored him. And then we put another funding bid in saying we really want to work here. And luckily for us, the Arts Council wanted to make connections with the Black Country Museum. So for the first 2 years of us working there, we got Arts Council funded. And then we made such an impact that they were like, we need to keep these on. So we worked there for 10 years. It was during that time that we started doing comedy shows, because Jackie wanted, in 2008, Jackie wanted to run the London Marathon. And she was like, I'm not very good at asking for donations, because you have to like raise loads of money for charity, don't you? I don't know if you do now, but you did then. And she was like, will you help me? And I was like, yeah, of course, because I'm like cheeky. I don't mind doing things like that. And Deb said, why don't we put on a show, do what we do in schools, and just charge people a fiver for it? So that was kind of what we did. So we did like our anti-bullying play, which was kind of quite comedic as well. And then in the second half, we'd created little sketches, And the Grannies, who are now known as the Dancing Grannies, they were called the old folk back then. And they were. Oh, I'm losing my train of thought. This is going to happen throughout, so I do apologise,
Yeah,
people.
that's okay.
It's the menopause. So the
The old folk.
Grannies, the old folk, yeah. So we created a short sketch which was just basically the old folk doing what old folk do. And then the show was absolutely amazing. And I remember a guy coming up to me going, I'd have paid a tenner for that, whether it was for charity or not. And you know, when you go, oh, like a little light bulb. So that started off doing the comedy shows. The comedy show the following year was again, the Dancing Grannies were still called the old folk, and it was Jackie that said, I don't know why, but I think they should dance to Flow Riders Low. And me
Yeah, yeah.
boots with the
With
fur.
her.
And me and Deb were like, what? Are you insane? Kind of thing. And then it was really weird because every time I was in the car, it kept coming on the radio and then I could see it. And I was like, I think we should do this. So we found this hip hop choreographer. She came on in, learnt us very basic hip hop because none of us are dancers. We're all trained actors. Me and Deb are trained singers, and we all did dance in college, but none of us are dancers. But it was at the end of a sketch, which was all about Christmas. They just got up and did this dance, and no one was expecting it. And the roof went off the place. So we then started doing those dances in towns just so we could hand out flyers to theatre shows to get bums on seats. And that was happening for quite a few years, and we were still doing our theatre shows. I think we may have stopped working at the Black Country Museum at that point. And it was in 2014 we were rehearsing for a show, and as you know, because you've worked with us many times, we really needed the rehearsal. And but we'd already agreed to go and dance at Stourbridge Carnival. And it was a beautiful sunny day. And we went and danced there. None of us, I think, wanted to at this point because, like I say, we really were like, oh, God, we need. I am allowed to swear on this, aren't I?
Yeah.
So, oh, thank God for that. Okay. And we were like, no, shit, we really should be rehearsing right now. But we've said we're going to do it. We're going to do it. And we went along, and I just remembering feeling this kind of, it was quite magical. The sun was shining, we danced, there were so many people there, so unexpected. And then went back to rehearsals for the show that was coming up. And then the following, on that same night, our friend James, who also works with us, James Collins, he messaged me and he was like, oh my God, something's going on because I keep getting your video sent to me and it's everywhere. And apparently, this was before you could see how many views it had. And it was having shares and shares and shares. And it was a lady called Lucy Rutherford who was in the audience. She took a video, put it on her Facebook, and it literally went round the world. And we were getting messages from Antarctica, Mongolia, really, like, I mean, I know the most.
Is it penguins that were messaging?
Yeah. Yeah, it was just, I mean, all over the world, but those were the two, like, I would consider like random places that, I don't know. But it was just, and it was her video, and thankfully, we got in touch with her and we were like, will you put our Facebook page, which is Fizzog Productions, underneath, which she did, bless her. And obviously people started finding us, so our views were going up. In fact, I was working with you at workshop at that time. Do you remember it?
I remember it vividly because I was so giddy. So I ran a drama school for 10 years and it still runs now, and it's called Drama Workshop. And Sue, you worked with me for what, 6 or 7 of those years, that. And I remember you coming in, I think it was a Monday night, and you went, oh my God, like the video's going mad. And then we kept popping back to the video throughout the sessions because we do 2 sessions back to back, and these were young people aged 7 to 18 in different groups, and we kept popping back to the phone. I mean, I was very excited. I just remember. Oh no, I don't want to share that, but like really excited. I was going, oh my god, my whole body's busy, and every time we went back to the phone,
Yeah.
it was electric to
Yeah.
watch the numbers go up.
Yeah. And it was
out of
just,
nowhere.
I remember, and I don't even know, because again, this was like 2014. I remember it hitting 2.5 million shares. Again, this we didn't know how many views that was. Someone said, and this could be more, I don't know, but someone said it was an average of 5 views per share. I don't even know what the maths is on that, but I know after, and it went on and on, it went to 3.5 million. I don't even know if I'd be able to find that video now because of how, when you scroll through something and
Yeah.
you're like, I'm fed up now, I don't even want to carry on anymore. But it was just, yeah. And then people would take snippets of that and then put it on theirs, and then it would get shared everywhere. And then this basically has happened for us for years. We almost got desensitized to it because someone would say, oh, send us a message saying, oh girls, here you go again, you're going viral again. And we'd be like, oh, here we go again. That was it. And it would be something like 10 million views. I've got a screen grab, and again, this isn't on our page, this was other people's pages. I know we had a couple of videos on our page, and we had one in particular from a birthday party that we did in Essex, and it was, my nephew was with us, and it was a live, and it had 11 million views, and that was on our Facebook page. But this other one, I've got a screen grab, and it's got 70 million views on one of our us dancing. And there is something magical about those characters. But it was other people that started calling us the Dancing Grannies. So we just kind of like ran with it. We went through loads of newspaper. We were like in loads of different newspapers and everything. And there was one time, I think this was because I remember Jamal was working with us. I think it was 2017. And Jamal, he was an apprentice with us at the time, and he was like, something's going mad here because we're getting pop-ups on Google saying the word Fizzog has been in here, there and everywhere. And we'd gone viral again in India. And there was apparently this massive company who'd shared a video of us because we do a lot of Bhangra dancing and everything. So again, we danced to the sort of things that grannies wouldn't necessarily dance to. And the Bhangra dancing had gone viral, and this massive organisation in India had shared it. And we worked it out, we had been in 26 different newspapers in India in 24 hours. Yeah.
Wow.
I know. Absolutely
Did they
insane.
call you for an interview or anything like that?
No. Do you know what as well? People think we are old people, which is kind of testament to, it's like a real, oh God, what's the word I'm after? A kind of testament to us being good at what we do. It's a real compliment.
Yeah.
Because, and then you'll get the odd people who are like, they're not really old, they're young people. Like, okay, thank you.
They're really angry about it.
Yeah.
That's why no, they're actors.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people think we're men as well, which is, thanks. Someone said you can tell by the size of their feet.
Aren't you a size 5?
Yeah, I know.
A tiny man. I remember actually, because we were working together at the time, and I always remember this little girl's mum. Remember Phoebe with the dark hair? And I remember her mum coming in and saying, "I'm surprised Sue's still here because she's going so viral. I'm surprised is she not like going global now?" And and there's that sort of assumption, isn't there, when you're going viral so much, and you'd think, with being in 26 newspapers in India, that they would call you for a statement or something.
A tour. We were hoping to tour around India, we'd have been well happy with that. But no, it's really, really bizarre. And I think another assumption that people make is the fact that all these views is making us a hell of a lot of money, a shit ton of money. And God, if only. We have got a video on our YouTube channel, again, of the Grannies. I think that was back in, I think it might, again, that might have even been 2014. I know it was a Christmas and it was in Stafford. That one video has had 20 million views, and everybody knows YouTube monetized. But because we're dancing to Flow Rider and Beyonce and Gangnam Style Psy and another banger track, we don't make a penny on it. I know. We've been, for years, have been going, just a penny. Do you know what I
a
mean?
penny for every view, you would be millionaires.
Yeah.
With all that, over 500 million views, would you be?
Yeah.
I need to work that out. My maths isn't brilliant.
Probably.
I can't.
Yeah.
Surely.
We'd have some
surely.
money in the bank. Yeah.
You'd have some money in the bank. And it's really interesting because I think people do make those assumptions, but also when you're not used to that, and you're not used to, like, it sort of comes out of nowhere and you don't understand how those things work, it takes a while to understand how you can capitalize on it. I remember Lad Bible sharing one, and people are making money off your clips, but you're not making the money, or you weren't making the money off those clips.
Yeah.
And so it takes a while to work out actually how to capitalize on that, because we don't know all this information, do we? Are you starting to do that more now?
Yeah, we are. I think just going back slightly to the 500 million, where that came from was, I think it was me actually. I sat down, I averaged how much the first video was with its shares. And then I totted up all the other ones that we knew about. And we hit, and this is quite a few years ago now, I remember we hit around 350 million views. And then it happened again. It surged again. Someone shared another video, and then we hit another. So that's when those aren't definite views. Some of those videos may not even exist anymore.
Yeah.
Because people may have taken them down. Like I say, they're not ours, so I don't know. But then we reckoned on with that we'd hit about 500 million. I'll never forget, we did a little... we were asked to dance outside a shop. It was Christmas. It was in Darlaston, which is a lovely little place in the Black Country. There were about 15 people watching us. I remember there was a really shit Santa there. He'd not even got a big belly or anything. I mean, come on, Santa. And again, it just, people, I remember Johnny Rotten shared it. What's the guy, Pamela Anderson,
Tommy Lee.
Tommy Lee, yeah, he shared it. Again, we've had loads of famous people, but that tiny little clip from Darlaston, because when you recognise where you were. So so famous people have shared it and everything.
Kate your clips.
Yeah, in fact, I got in touch with Kate when she did that. And I was like, oh my God, this is us and everything. Can you kind of like mention us? And she did, and she put it in her stories. And she was like, oh my God, you girls are from the Midlands, because I think she's maybe East Midlands or Midlands somewhere originally, I don't know, or her dad was. And she shared it for us. She still follows us on Instagram, and occasionally I'll just message her and everything. Everyone's like, "This is not the real Kate." Yes, it is.
Yes,
actually.
it is. Yeah. She's got
Yeah.
a blue tick, and she's got her. She's got her hats, hasn't she? And those boots that she wears.
I know. Yeah. But yeah, little things like that. So, and then coming back to what's kind of happened recently. So bear in mind, we've been the Grannies together because those Grannies all came from two different theatre in health and education plays. Two of them, myself and Jack's characters, were from a World War II play, and Deb's character was from a senior safety play about senior safety around the home. Both comedic kind of performances, and we just put them together to create sketches. So we've been the characters since 2008, maybe before, and danced since 2009. And then every so often you'll think, oh, this is it now. It's a shelf life kind of thing. And then all of a sudden it goes, ooh, let's go again. Here we go again. So how this one happened, this recent surge of viralism, I don't even know if that's a word, was we've been working with a social media team, and we paid for them and everything, they didn't just come along and go, we'll help you girls. But they monetized us on Facebook. We didn't even know you could get monetized. We knew YouTube, obviously we already were, even though sadly, that one video we don't make any money for. We were making a little bit from other things. They helped to monetize us, and they were doing some certain things with us. And then Deb said, why don't we try an experiment and let's just put loads out. Let's just do it for a month. Let's see what happens. And that is what we've done recently. And I get inspiration from other people, and I saw this video of these 4 women doing a little thing to Everybody Dance Now. Everybody Dance
Yes.
Now.
Oh, yes, yes.
Which is something we used to dance to when we did the bullying play many, many years ago. And I said to the girls, let's recreate that. And we did a few other. We did the blindfold challenge, where you all blindfold to see if you dance the same kind of thing. So we did a few of these things. And that Everybody Dance Now has, at the last count, it's 22 seconds long. That one video has had 32 point something million on Instagram, 5 million on YouTube, and I think 5 million on Facebook. That one video.
Yeah.
But because of that video, again, it's gone around the world. We're having messages from Russia, Canada, Australia, Iraq, all sorts of, all over the place. I had a message this morning which was in French. I had to translate it so I knew what this lady was talking about. And that video, then there's other ones that have had millions of views again. So
And what did the French lady say?
she said, I want to do this with my friends. Can you teach us how to dance to La Isla Bonita? We don't even dance to that. Yeah.
Maybe that's what you should do. Maybe you should do like dance along with the grannies. We'll teach the dancing granny teach you a routine.
Yeah, Deb has already said that. In fact, again, credit to Deb, she's been saying that for years. She's been saying, I would love to get people all over the world to dress up as grannies and dance and we dance with them. Jack's been going lately, can we do a kitchen rave? So we're going to go live on Facebook, something like that, maybe YouTube, I don't know. And we're basically going to be in the kitchen dancing and invite people to come along and have a dance with us from your kitchen.
I think, do you know what? I think that is a genius idea. I mean, it's like Sophie Ellis-Bextor's kitchen disco that she did it through lockdown, which she did every Friday. And then that led on to other things for her. I think the thing is, as a creative or as a performer or in particular, you can be sitting there waiting to be discovered and thinking but you have to just keep putting yourself out there, because I read it used to be people need to see you 3 times or something before they remember you. Now it's 11.
Yeah. Oh, is it 11 now?
It's 11 now.
I heard 7+, but I didn't know exactly.
Yeah, it's about 11 times before people really remember you. And if they don't see you for 30 days, you go out of their head. They just sort of forget about you. So you have to. I mean, it's weird because I've kind of got this issue with. I sort of go back and forth. Part of me thinks, yes, keep putting content out, and the other part of me thinks, but we're making content for the platforms and we have to make the content more interesting. And then it makes Instagram thrive because they change the parameters so that we have to be more interesting to get more engagement for them. Like we're working for them as well. But it just goes to show, like, you guys putting yourself out there, and it's interesting you say Russia and Iraq as well. There's the what that you're getting messages from all over the world, and we're in it's a bit shit within the global politics, and so to have you ladies, and we all globally, our old people are beloved, aren't they? So to see an old person raving and that brings people together, doesn't it, as well? It sort of makes people laugh, it brings them together.
Do you know what, you saying that's something that we really want to kind of get out there, really, because we have and again, this is going back years, but again, because of this surge of the amount of messages that we're getting, you can't even physically read all of them unless you do nothing else for at least 3 days. But we try and read as many and reply to as many as we can, but we are getting so many comments. It makes me quite emotional, actually, and of course because I'm talking to you, because we're both criers. Jesus Christ.
I'm surprised we haven't cried yet.
I know.
It's 5 minutes, we're tears, that's fine.
What the amount of messages that we get, for fuck's sake. of people saying that they're feeling shit and this has made them smile for a long time and they haven't smiled or laughed for a long time and it's making their day. And I think
Yeah.
all the bollocks and shit that's going on in the world right now, people need this.
Yeah, they
People
do.
need something that they can smile about and
Yeah.
have, some joy in their life. And that just all three of us, it's like this is it, this is why we do what we do, because and we've always said, from doing theatre shows and doing things like this, I mean we still do weddings, we do parties, carnivals, festivals. We've danced on stage at Wembley with Bollywood, one of Bollywood's biggest stars, who was on Jimmy Fallon the other night. Is it Jimmy Fallon?
Yeah.
He was Diljit Dosanjh, who we danced with at Wembley, was on a massive American show the other night.
Yeah, he's a huge star, isn't he,
I
Dilbert?
know.
Yeah.
But and you think all of that, we have so much fun.
Yeah.
We've said this for years. If we didn't find this fun, we wouldn't do it anymore.
No, and I
Because
think
we're not making a massive amount of money from it. So, and even when we're recording, we laugh so much. So, and I think that resonates. It resonates when you're on stage and it resonates through the screen around the world as well.
I totally agree. I think, and you said something earlier about it's kind of magical what the three of you have got as the dancing grannies. And I totally agree. I think it is. You also do live like murder mysteries, although it's a slightly different different characters. But you have such good chemistry. You've got good shorthand with each other, and you're amazing at improvisation. And there is just a magical energy around the three of you when you're performing. And I think something I also wanted to say was earlier when you said you started off as the old folk, and then it became everybody referred to you as the dancing grannies. I think it's so important to go with that as well, because it's the shorthand of it's just the dancing grannies. Like it does what it says on the tin, doesn't it? So people know that that's you. And I think that kind of shorthand when you're marketing yourself is really important as well.
Yeah.
But I think coming back to it, the older I get, the more I believe that the work that you do, yes, you want it to be fun, and it's lucky if it can be fun. You do need a why that's not about you. So yes, you love being the dancing grannies.
Yeah.
Yes, you make each other laugh. Yes, it's fun. Yes, but also when the purpose is outside of you, when it's about we're making a difference, we're making people smile, that is a bigger reason to get out of bed than doing it for yourself. And I think that is so important. Oh God, I'm going to start crying. But it's just the fact that you're making a difference in people's lives, and
Yeah.
people are feeling bleak, and then they're seeing these women dancing. So that's why you have to put it out there, don't you? You have to get your work out there.
Yeah. I mean, going back to manifestation and everything as well. And I truly believe we've manifested this, because myself and Deb in particular, well, me, Deb and Jack, but me and Deb in particular have been putting so many things. I mean, I've been manifesting for 20 years now, but big things, little things, but putting things in place to make this happen, and it's happened.
Yeah.
But I like set intentions every single day, and I always set the intention to feel good and to laugh, and I pretty much do every day.
Yes.
Even if it's only for a short space of time. Do you know what I mean? It's that,
Yeah.
but it's so important.
It's
Laughter.
so important. It's so important. I just think it's nearly my birthday, and God, the years rattle by so quickly now. And I just think you just have to make the most of every second. We're here for a little while. Just have fun. And if you can make a difference and make people laugh and make people happy, or entertain them or move them, or oh God. Oh, for fuck's sake, it's ridiculous. But it's like we're a human race, aren't we? We're there's division across the world, but we're all fucking human beings.
Yeah.
Let's come together instead of building walls.
We deserve to be happy.
We do
Everyone
deserve
deserves to be happy.
We do, and there's a lot of politics and media that tries to make, even down to oh, you're Gen X, and Gen X don't get on with Gen Z, and millennials are like this, and you know what I mean. Even down to that, or all men are assholes, or all are like, and it's white men, and it's like everything. No, some people are dickheads, and some people aren't, but most people in the world just want a nice life, love their families, and want to, you know, make the most of their time here, and just have. And so I'll get off my soapbox now. But I think it's really important the work that you do, and I think how wonderful that so many people are seeing what you're doing, liking it, sharing it, and you're bringing some joy into people's days. I think it's brilliant, and I do think it's great that now that you're sort of leaning into taking ownership of what the work that you're creating, and I think, you know, the sky's the limit for you guys. I think it really could.
So yeah,
I
yeah,
really think it could, you know, and it should.
yeah.
No, I see you on Drew Barrymore.
Oh God, I have loved. I never thought of Drew. Oh my
Yeah,
God,
I
I
just
keep
gonna cast you
visualising
on Drew
us.
Barrymore and her like leaning towards you and going,
I've loved
Barry,
Drews for
I love
so
you.
many years. I keep visualising us on This Morning with Alison and Dermot, and
Yes,
my character Letty, who we always say she's always on the lookout for husband number 7.
yes,
So you know,
Dermot. You know,
Dermot. Oh
yeah, you
yeah.
can get in there
He'll,
with Dermot.
oh God, yeah.
You don't just do those characters. You've written plays for years. Way before The Play That Goes Wrong came out, you created a show that was characters from the 1900s,
Yeah.
where they are putting on a play, and it's sort of going wrong. And
Yeah.
you've done so many sellout tours, and you do sketch shows. Talk to me about how those plays came about.
So the it all went back to when Jack ran the marathon, and we did this show to raise money for her charity, and then we started doing sketch shows. So we'd got, again, all of these characters, the original characters came from theatre in health and education plays. So we had obviously the old folk, which are now the dancing grannies. We'd got 2 characters, myself and Deb were 2 characters called Mags and Barb, who were just like excuse me, women who gossip, women of a certain age who gossip, get things wrong. But part of it, one of them was based on Deb's mom, who sadly is no longer with us, but we we would be around at Deb's house, and her mom and dad, who also, either of them are no longer with us sadly, but she'd go, Arch, don't say anything because it'll be in the next going play, you know.
She was right.
Yes, she was right. And then Jack had got a character. Again, these characters were written by other people, but we kind of like developed them and made them our own. But Jack had got a character. This is a woman in her 40s and 50s and now 60s playing a 15-year-old boy. And he's like called Wayne Kerr, and he's this wannabe gangster, and there's nothing gangstery about him. He just thinks he is, but it's such a brilliant character. And then our good friend Ross, I remember sitting with Ross one day and going, Ross, just create us some characters. And then he'd seen us, because myself and Deb are singers as well, and we used to do a black country version of ABBA called Amya. So it was AMYA. And then Ross, based on what he saw there, created Fabba, and they are the world's worst ABBA tribute band, because they refuse to sing any songs by ABBA. And he's written, as you know, some brilliant songs as well. There's going to be more of that coming on our YouTube channel as well. And then the Froggits and Cottrells, which were the characters that we portrayed down at the museum, Black Country Museum. And they are characters from 1910. And they are 2 families who love to hate one another. So it's like that they'll fight and like physically fight in the street and what have you. But if anyone says anything about the other person, they'll defend them, kind of thing. And it was at the museum where they had the Christmas nights, and they said to us, can you create something for the Christmas nights? And we were like, okay. So we used to do a half-an-hour show, and it was my idea, actually. I said, why don't we do these characters doing the Cinderella story but everything goes wrong. The acting is really bad. The props are shit. And that basically is what happened. And it got so popular on those Christmas nights. We would do 7, 8, and 9 o'clock shows, like half an hour shows, and people would be in there, sat down. There'd be like 200 people sat in the Workers' Institute, and like from about 6:30, and before we even started the 7 o'clock show, people would queue out for the 8 o'clock one before we even
Wow.
started. Yeah. And it got so popular. And then again, it was Deb that went, why don't we put these characters in because we were already doing theatre shows, in a full length show and take it into theatres. And it was Jack that was like, I don't think it will work outside of the setting of the Black Country Museum, because it's beautiful and it's all, all from the olden days. But we did it, and it worked. It worked so well. And we would do parodies of Frozen and Wicked and The Greatest Showman and things like that. And we would create these stage shows again where everything went wrong and everything. And I remember going to see the play that went wrong. Me and Deb went, and we were like, oh my God, it's like they came to see us and then went, we can do this. But they had a hell of a lot of money and promoters, and they got in actors from wherever. Whereas with us, and this is another thing about us, we write, we perform, we promote, we do everything. And like over the past, oh God, I don't know, 7 or 8 years, that's just been me and Deb, and that is a lot of work. Actually longer than that, because we haven't really done it for the last 5, but it's a hell of a lot of work for 2 people. And it's kind of like, we would happily go out and still do stage shows and theatre shows, and a lot of people still want to see us do that, but it's just too much.
Yeah.
It's like a year's worth of work to do 10 to 15 shows. And if we had a promoter, if there are any promoters out there, who said, do you know what, girls, you write the show, you do the rehearsals, we'll put the bums on seats and come and do this national tour, we would do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
In fact, a few people have been talking about a dance show with the dancing grannies, and every time I see it, when that cog starts ticking and you start going, oh God, could we? Obviously, we wouldn't. I mean, Jack, bless us, in her 60s now. But then again, this is the woman who's done a triathlon, the London Marathon, and tough guy.
Yeah.
So even though she'll probably go, I can't do that. And yes, she could.
I can see like scantily clad men in it as well, but maybe they are not. I can see like,
I thought of that. Hang on a second.
Yeah, you should.
Scantily clad men.
You should have one really buff guy and
Can't
one
spell
guy.
scantily. Hang on.
Oh, SCANTILY.
I know what I'm
And
trying to say.
you should have like you should do like a parody of, what's that thing that Channing Tatum does? Magic Mike. But you should have one guy that's like super skinny, one guy that's sort of like 2 guys that just don't like, and then one hunk, and you're all fighting over him. You know what I mean? Like,
my
God!
You heard it here, folks.
Or something like that. I so think you should have a scene, and if you could have water that came down or something, but it's a bucket.
Flash dance.
Yeah, but it's a bucket over the head or something to finish with. I so think you should do a dance show. I think it would be brilliant. And
we need to get some promoters on board, don't we? Because again, our audience now, and I know there's a lot. I mean, there's the lovely Doreen Tipton, who is a good friend of ours, Jill, and I think the difference is with us, because we're very visual. Again, we are around the world. We're very well known in the Black Country, which is where we come from, but because we are worldwide, whereas Doreen was very local, so there are other local comedians who are local, whereas, sometimes when it was just me and Deb trying to sell things, it was really hard. So, whereas if, we need to pop over to Russia and do some bit of river dance and Magic Mike over there. You wait. So I'm seeing Deb in a minute. As soon as she hears what you've said, she's going to be like, "Oh my God, let's do it."
I think you should totally do that. I think it would be brilliant. And I think this is the problem, isn't it? It's how you make your life work and when you don't have the money behind you to get these
Yeah,
projects going.
yeah,
And you don't know what you don't know. So if you like with your videos going viral for
yeah,
years, hundreds, millions of views here, there, and everywhere, but you're not earning anything from them, and other people are earning off them. And if you don't know that information, and now you're obviously doing the videos yourself, which is great, and then we'll hopefully, start earning really decent money from it because it's your work. You should,
yeah. I know. It is starting. We are
yeah,
April. April's looking good so far. So we just got to
fabulous.
continue it. Yeah.
But then with a show, like people assume that you earn lots of money from shows, and people go on about ticket prices. And yes, some of the ticket prices for big people are astronomical, but it takes a lot to put on a show. And like you say, it's a year's worth of work for one production. And if you don't have the funding behind you, and I've done plays with you, I've done some of your shows, and you've got a cast of sort of 7 or 8, and then you've got to play the tech guy, and then you've got costumes, and you've got to pay for the venue. And then by the time you've broken it down, that year's worth of work, you're essentially being paid for the show and not the other bit of work. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
how you go about monetizing that, and also not carrying the weight, just pushing it up the hill by yourself, because it's a freaking lot of work.
Yeah, it is.
When you did the first shows and you thought that you did them at the Black Country Museum, the short versions, and then you thought, no, let's try these as a proper show. How did you approach that? How did you make that work? How did you finance it?
I think I don't think we financed it in a
No.
way. I think through the work from that we'd done elsewhere, like the theatre and health and education stuff, we always had like a pot of money in the bank. So that money paid for the deposits on the theatres, that money paid for the costume, that money paid for the lighting person, and we just hoped that it would make money. And I'm really, really grateful we've never ever made a loss. We've always made something. But like you've just said, for the amount of work that you put into the amount of money that you get at the end of it, is that, like you said, you get paid probably for the shows, but not the rehearsals, not the writing, not all the work that you put in for, not all of the social media time trying to sell it, not the creating leaflets and going down to towns and everything to drop those leaflets off. You don't get paid for any of that. Well, we didn't anyway. We just got paid for the shows, which is why it became too much. And it was like, I don't think, we can kind of like keep doing this the way that we've been doing it before. So I think we'd all happily do it again, but we need that external, we need that promoter to say, you do what, because again, I mean, we did a show because we've been going for 26 years this year, but we did a show at the start of the year to celebrate 25 years of Fizzog. It was only a short show. It was to a very select audience who've been with us on the journey. We never got paid for any of it. We paid the sound guy, we paid for editing of different God, like things that we showed on the night and what have you. We were quickly getting changed backstage, and we did a show there, and we loved it, and it gave us that oomph to keep doing stuff. But again, we never made any money from it because the money went elsewhere, sort of thing. So if we could get somebody behind us to say, you just do what you do best, that's what I was going to say. Myself and Deb were working so hard behind the scenes that Deb actually said, I'm really not confident with my lines.
Yes.
And that's the thing we should be focusing on. We shouldn't be spending hours and hours on social media and doing this and all that when we really should be focusing on our art, our craft. And we're not doing that. We're not kind of able to do that because our focus lies elsewhere. So
I think
that's a sadness, really.
it's a real challenge, isn't it? And you have a huge audience. I mean, I performed with you quite a lot of times, but we did the Grand and it sold out really quickly.
Yeah.
Full standing ovation at the end.
Yeah.
There is an appetite, and I think, and it's how you find the way to
do that. Like you say, you need a promoter, but you're seen globally, and people want you, and people love you, and they connect with you, and
Yeah.
it is the frustration that I have with the arts, and that side of the arts myself, because it does mean that it does become sort of those that have and those that don't, the people that, I mean, I've heard Eddie Mars and the actor talk about it a lot. It's people from richer backgrounds that are able to do this, because we're having so much arts council cutting, not just arts council, but just arts cuts within the country.
Yeah.
And they're taking acting out of drama out of school more, and it's not seen as, and it makes me so sad. And actually it makes me want to fuck the system up, and it makes me want to go,
Yeah.
no, we're not having this. Then we have to think outside the box, because there is an appetite for what you do. There is such an appetite. Like, you're loved globally, you've got,
Yeah.
so there has to be a way to make this work. It makes
Yeah.
me sort of angry and determined,
Me
because
too.
the world needs what you do. It
And you
needs
know
what
what?
you do.
It makes me angry, and it's such a contradiction, because you've got these fucking dickheads saying, let's take arts out of this and everything. What does everyone do when they get home after work at night? They
Absolutely.
stick the television on.
Yeah.
What do they do in the car? They listen to the radio, they listen to a podcast, they go to the theatre, they go to the ballet, they go to the opera, all these people who say we don't need arts. Oh, fuck you. Yes, we do. Because this
Absolutely.
is what, again, bring people joy. Your comedians, they make you laugh. What we do, it's making people laugh. It's making people smile. You're not going to go home. People read books. It's all creative. It's all art. And it's just, and I think it's just, I mean, it's a control thing. It's, let's dull everything down so we can just mind control everyone. No, you can't, because like you said earlier, we're humans.
We
We
are
need
human.
love, we need connection, we need joy. We deserve to be happy.
We
And
do.
you're not going to take that away from us.
No, exactly. And also, when people say, oh, what's Britain known for? And then they start recite, like Dylan Thomas and the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and Judi Dench and Turner,
Yeah.
it's largely arts that people think about. It's largely art that people feel connected to. And so I think it's so important. When you sit and write, where do you get your ideas from? Do you know?
Other people.
Yeah.
We are very observational humour. Like your Peter, talking of like great comedians and everything, your Peter Kay's, all observational humour and everything. And I think we get a lot from that, and we always work on, and we've done this for years, we will sit and write together, and none of us are precious. And it's kind of like, if someone says something and you go, I don't know, you don't go, well, I think it's a great idea. You just don't. You just go with it. If it makes us all laugh out loud, it stays in. That's how we work.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing an interview with Ricky Gervais, and I've seen him live, and he's amazing. And of course, because of his work with animals, I mean, the man is a god to me just for that alone. But I remember seeing him in an interview and saying that you take a show out, and if they laugh, it stays in. If they don't laugh, you take it out or you go back and rewrite it. And that was music to my ears, because we've been doing that for years, but we kind of didn't know whether that was right or not. So to hear it from someone else was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Because we would do that I remember you were there. We did a show one time, and not only was it too long, that it was kind of like, oh, I'm a big feelings person. If it doesn't feel right, I don't do it, or it changes. And we all went to the pub after, and we were like, right, something needs to change. And we all sat there and was like, okay, let's take out this, let's do this. And this was at the first night of a tour, and we'd got the following night, but we changed it as we went on. And to hear that from someone who's massive was like, yeah, this is amazing.
Well, it also gives you permission not to be perfect on the, to understand that is a natural process.
Yeah.
So I did quite a few tours with you guys, and there would be 10 or 15 shows. And I remember the very first
show I did with you guys, you'd written a character for me called Eunice Clegg, who was an
Yeah.
Irish boxer, and we'd sort of rehearsed her in a certain way. And I went out on the first night, and the audience just weren't feeling her, and I could feel that they weren't feeling it, and it felt awful. I came off. I remember in the interval crying, going,
Yeah.
"I am shit." I remember going, "I think I'm shit." They're just, and actually, what happened then was, went away and thought about, actually I'm going to change the way I play her, and I'm going to play her in this way, and you got and then she was
Yeah.
really loved, and
Yeah.
it's changing the way, the audience inform can knock my mic over. The audience informs you of what they want, and that's fine. So
Yeah.
actually that's quite helpful to know that, okay, right, well, we might do a rewrite after this show, and we might keep tweaking it and
Yeah.
tweaking it, because it's just evolving.
Yeah. And I remember that night, and for you to cry and say, oh, here we go again, Jesus. For you to cry and say that you were shit just blew my mind, because you are without a doubt one of the best actors I have ever worked with. As well, you are fucking fabulous, and I know people who know you well know that about you, and I know people who have worked with Oscar winning people know that about you as well. You are amazing, and I just think for you that made me sad for you to even think that. And I know that we've all felt that at times, and people have to say to us, and sometimes again it's just like you feel like, I remember talking about the Froggies and Cottrells, we filmed something and I just thought Deb and Jack were absolutely amazing. Why would anybody want to watch me and do that character? And I sat and cried, and it was just like afterwards you're like, oh wow, no. Your monthly sessions with your workshop sessions and everything. And I feel that there's a lot of actors out there who are like you said, waiting for something to happen. Make it fucking happen. Don't wait. Even if it is creating characters and get yourself on social media, even if it is writing a one woman, one man play and creating it yourself, you can do it. You don't have to sit and wait for your agent to call. Make it happen. Don't
I couldn't
wait.
agree more. I couldn't agree more. You can sit around waiting to be discovered.
Yeah.
There are so many people that want to do this, and just do it. Just put yourself out there and think outside the box. And you don't need to give your job up to do it. I mean, that is one of the benefits of social media now, is the fact that you can make something and put it out, and that is joyful. And I totally agree. I think you have to take charge of your career. An agent is there to filter projects to you, but actually casting directors only go for the top couple of agencies first, and then they work their way down the list. And the lower agencies they often don't get to, because they assume those actors aren't going to be any good. So it's a tough market. So make yourself stand out, put your work out there. I totally agree, and that's what you guys do. I mean, because I know you guys have never you've never been jobbing actors. You've always created your own work, but then you've got autonomy, agency over the characters you want to play and you want to do.
Yeah. And we've all been self-employed, like I say, doing this. Yes, at times we've all done other things as well. We've all done other things out of interest as well, rather than just, oh, we must have to do this now because we're not doing theatre shows anymore. No, we've done other things but we've we've been going for 26 years, and that in itself in the arts is massive. To be able to create your own work and still continuously do it and enjoy it for this amount of time is something I'm really proud of us for that as well. So
you should be proud of it. It's an amazing achievement, and you've brought a lot of joy to a lot of people's lives, including mine. So thank you so much for chatting with me today. It's
Thank
been
you for
brilliant hearing
having
about your
me.
story. And
Just written scantily clad men on a post-it there.
a good hour, scantily clad men. It's lovely to talk to you, and thank you so much for
Thank you so
being
much.
my guest. Being my guest.
It's so lovely to talk to Sue, and as you probably gathered from that conversation, we, like a natter, we usually have a glass of Prosecco when we natter, and we pretty much cry every time we see each other. Normally within a 5-minute window, one of us has gone for some reason or another. I love being around Sue. She's got the most brilliant energy, and is a real true sort of champion of people, and she won't let herself be, hold herself back or drag herself down. She really sort of pushes on and gets on with the things she wants to do. She is also a mindfulness and breathwork coach, and that was something I wanted to cover, but we just simply ran out of time, because I did a show with them a couple of years ago, and we did 3 nights at this venue, and the first 2 nights I didn't really enjoy it. They went well, but I didn't feel very present in my body, and I sort of felt like I wasn't really on the stage. And then on the 3rd night, I sat with her and she did some breath work with me before we went on stage, and it completely transformed the experience for me. I was very grounded. I was very present throughout the whole performance, and I was really just enjoyed every second of it. So I have asked her if she will come back at some point and actually do a meditation for performers that we can put out, because I think it's really helpful. I didn't understand the difference that would make for me. It was night and day between the first 2 performances and the 3rd one. It was a completely different experience. I enjoyed the first 2 performances, but I sort of, just didn't feel present, felt a bit nervy. Last one, loved it. So I think if she can give you that and you can use it, then it's brilliant. So she is going to come back and do that, and we're going to shoot that at the end of May. So I really hope you enjoyed the episode, and thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the conversation today, please do like, subscribe, comment, share, and it just helps get this out there. And I have put at the end a little clip from the beginning of our conversation, just because it made me laugh. Anyway, have a lovely week. See you then. Take care.
You look lovely.
Thank you. So do you. Hang on a sec. Oh God, yeah, you do. Do you know what? I've got my new contact lenses in, which I can see better further away, but close up is like. But I don't want to wear my glasses all the way through it, so.
That's so funny. You look great. Yeah, so do you. Hang on, let me just actually make sure that I agree with that statement. Yes, you do.